Hey everybody, this is the first episode in a series I hope to make called Preventing, Treating, just all about mouth rot on your reptiles. So I'm going to give you a brief, very minor overview of what mouth rot is, and then what you should be doing to prevent it, what you do if you get it, um, all the way down the line. So first of all, mouth rot is pretty self-explanatory, right? It's rotting of the mouth. So it's an infection in their mouth that causes it to rot. Now, these videos are going to kind of be stapled per the reptile that we see, for common causes and whatnot. Prevention and stuff's going to be pretty similar. Some of the ways to get access to your reptile's mouth may be different, and things like that based on the reptile. But the main reason why I'm starting with a Chinese water dragon are these guys are probably one of your worst offenders, and I'm going to get into why. Because, by the way, these guys are such a calm, passive, awesome reptile, awesome lizard to have as a pet. I can't stress it enough. They're cheap. You can even get them, at your major pet store, but sometimes they can get mouth rot. Why? Well, what's extremely common with your Chinese water dragon is for them to rub front of their face off. So one of the reasons that makes these guys so passive is that they have a tendency to be looked at as kind of dumb in the lizard community, and I'll show you why. So you may read online, if you guys are thinking about getting these guys, is hey, don't keep them in an all glass enclosure. They'll try to get out and they'll just rub their face on the glass. They don't get it. They don't understand. Okay, that's part of it, but for Mario here, his enclosure is not glass. He's got 2 glass doors, but there's a lip, a good 5-6 inch lip up from the bottom, and the rest of his enclosure is white. He runs into everything full speed, and that's what these guys will do. Is he's getting down out of his branch, he'll run, boom, slam against the opposite wall, boom, slam against the wall. It just happens because they're kind of dumb. Now, I rescued him, and let me start by saying he had mouth rot bad when I rescued him. It looked like there was one of those cheese, dispensers where you string out the string cheese. It's like, that was just all over his mouth, his lip, all in there. And that's typically what mouth rot looks like, is you'll see the skin's deteriorated and you'll see this orange, pussy, looks like cheese type solution. That is the rotting of the mouth. That's the bacteria. So he had that, and it was bad. So what you want to do in your worst case, guys, is, and also if you don't feel comfortable, is I made a vet appointment for him. We went to the vet. We confirmed that's what it was. He was placed on, it wasn't at a deadly level yet where he would have needed antibiotics that I would have had to have injected into his back leg. Able to take oral antibiotics with an eyedropper. Within 2 weeks, all set. So I had oral antibiotics, but I did my normal mouth rot treatment as well. So what you want to have on hand whenever you have any reptile are pretty simple. You want Q-tips and some type of betadine or iodine. And then when I check for mouth rot, I also bring some clean water with me. Now, if your reptile eats daily or once a week, it's really simple, guys. You can normally look at their mouth while they're eating, and you can have a really good feel of if they have mouth rot or not, if there's anything wrong in their mouth. Sometimes, with all reptiles, especially Chinese water dragons, though, is they'll rub off part of their face. As you see here, you can look right into his mouth. Even though his mouth is closed, there's his front tooth, because that's where he rubbed it off. So they'll rub off part of their face, and then they get it most of the time from the water, where most reptiles will get it from. Chinese water dragons, because their water tub is also their bathtub, which is also their drinking water, which is also their toilet, which is also their soaking area. So, right, you've already got a wound. You're now taking a bath in the toilet after you've used the toilet, and then you're also drinking from it, and then you repeat. So he's got a filter in his water. I skim his water out daily, and then 1 to 2 times a week, I do a full water change, disinfect the whole tub. Bam. So when I got him, he already had, like I said, the Mouthrot, and this is the damage he had already done to his mouth. So that's going to leave him in the future, though, susceptible to more mouth rot or just infections through the mouth because we have an opening. Not a wound, just an opening. So what do we do to check? Okay, well, I can tell you one thing that he gets every once in a while, and this is normal, not normal for lizards or even Chinese water dragons, but normal for him because of his opened wound is, let's see if, and we'll see if the camera can pick this up. If you look at his left side, so your right side over here, you'll see it looks a little bit more swollen right on the front there. Here it is more smooth. Here there's a little bulb. So sometimes he will bite himself while eating, which will cause a little open wound. And then because water can get in there, infection can get into there, and he'll get a minor little bump, easily treatable. It doesn't happen often, but I know that that's where that can happen. So with that in mind, I'll make sure we point it out. So when you're checking for mouth rot, though, you're just checking your reptile's mouth. Now, one of the easiest ways to check them is if you can get a good look when they're getting ready to eat. That's the easiest when you're feeding them, but I do recommend at least once a month, open up your reptile's mouth and take a peek in there. So for him and for all Chinese water dragons, there's a nice way to do this. Let me move the light up and over and sideways like this to really get him. So up, and let me put my camera up a little bit because I'm going to pick his head up a little bit. So their lip, they have, I'll move this Q-tip over here. They have their big lip, their top lip, their top lip and their bottom lip. It's got a good amount of excess skin where it can fold. In fact, it starts really just right below their nostril, so that's a good amount of lip there. So the easiest way is to start with the bottom lip, and on Chinese water dragons, what you can do is put your thumb underneath and just kind of pull back a little bit. You'll see that will open his bottom lip. Awesome. Then with the Q-tip, you can get in there and bend it down. Okay, we don't see any orange. Everything looks good. While that's being held down, you can come in and you can lift up the top lip. Now what you'll see right there is this bump here. So that's a sore, and I got to be careful because he'll start to feel a little bit of pain if I bump it. And that's a little swollen, most likely because he bit that when he was eating, and that's where we're at. And I'll show you how to treat that. But so that's an area where you would see, and that's a way you have to clean. That's how easy it is to open your Chinese water dragon's mouth. Now what you can also do is take the Q-tip and run it through there, and then look at it after you ran it through. Did anything come out? Any orange? Anything dirty like that? No? Okay, great. Yes? Okay, we treat it. Now I've already done this to his other side, so I don't have to do that. Also examine the area where the damage is done, like over here. Do you see any rotting? Do you see stuck shed? This is a big area where sometimes the shed can get stuck. When you need to treat the area, you bring out the iodine. So we're just going to take some of this iodine and we're going to soak the Q-tip in it. Simple. The good thing is, guys, so this iodine's not toxic to reptiles. You can actually dilute it down and give them a bath in it if they've got open wounds. So what I like to do is for him, because he's got the open wound in the front here. Well, it's all healed now, but I like to give it just a nice little just rub down like that, just to do a light coat. And then because he's got that sore in his mouth, and I would do this last because, you know, he's going to feel it a little bit. Not going to sting, but just sore when you touch it. Is wipe down that area. Top and bottom and just on the outside. Now, if you ever see mouth rot, or you're starting to get mouth rot, or you're worried, or it's got a wound, this is your go-to iodine, your first thing. Get it on there no matter what. Like when I picked him up, it was at night, vet's closed. I immediately washed him, got rid of all the goop, treated him with iodine, called the next day to get a vet appointment. So you can't do any wrong by doing this. Even if he's to lick it a little bit, it's okay. It's just fine. All right, let me get a good zoom in here for you guys. Okay. There we go. But guys, again, if you're unfamiliar with mouth rot, it can kill your reptile. So take them to the vet. Do not be afraid. Call, set an appointment with your vet, and get it done. But at least you have something you can do in the midterm, you know. Anyways, guys, that's my video on mouth rot and how to take care of a Chinese water dragon's mouth. Make sure it's clean. Treating if there's any nose rub. Treating mouth rot. Preventing mouth rot, because if you do that once a month and you see that it's clean, or you see just the formation and you do that, and then you follow up the next week, every 2 days, make sure, see if it's changing. If you need the vet, you're going to have a healthy reptile. All right, guys, take care.